Picture this. You want to book a service online. The top-rated business has glowing reviews, but you'll need to call to book your appointment. Would you still choose them? If you said no, you're not alone. 94% of people prefer to book with businesses that let them schedule their appointments online. I'm Ernesto, a bookings product education specialist. And throughout this course, we'll go over all of the ways you can set up and manage seamless booking experiences for your clients. In this lesson, we'll get you started by setting up your services. Let's jump right in. You might have created a site with a template that has bookings already built in. But if not, it's pretty simple to add them. Here's how you'll do it. Here in the editor, I'll open up my Add Elements menu and head right into Bookings. You can add as many of these options to your site, and you'll be ready to follow along. I created this site for a nail salon to guide you through this course, and I've already added some services here. All of my services, my appointments, classes, and courses live on this page. They each have an image, title, price, and description. To add and manage my services, I'll head over to my bookings menu in my site's dashboard. I can get there by clicking on my business from the left bar and choosing Wix bookings. And lastly, manage services. Here in my dashboard, I can see all the services I've already created, add new services, and manage things like my settings, payments, and booking calendar. To start, let's add a new service together. So I'll have all of these pre-built templates here. But for now, I'm gonna build an appointment from scratch. I'll keep the service type as an appointment and then fill in all of this information. You want your title to be straightforward and easy to understand. So I'll go super simple and just call it manicure. And I'll add a catchy tagline as well. Then, when you're writing your description, keep in mind the keywords your clients might search for when they're looking for your service on Google. So for me, that might be nails, cuticles, or polish. So I'll add my description right here. Then for your image, you can search for Wix Media Gallery, but it's always best to use your own high quality photos if you have them. I have my own picture, so I'll just add that here. If you've already added your business address in your site settings, that'll automatically show up here. And if it makes sense for your service, you can also host virtual sessions right from your dashboard. Now, I'll add my duration and some buffer time between appointments. So I'll make this 45 minutes and add 15 minutes for my buffer time. Now let's talk pricing. We have a few options here. Fixed price, that'll charge the same amount for everyone who books. No fee, which means you won't display or charge any fees on your site. Varied prices, which lets you set a few rates for each service, like a discount for kids or an upcharge for VIP bookings. And last but not least, custom pricing, which lets you set a range for what you charge. For now, I'll keep these fixed at $45. And then I'll choose whether I want to get paid online, in person, or either one, or if I want my clients to pay a deposit ahead of time, and the rest in person. I'll stick to entire amount online for now. For now, we'll skip this memberships and packages section. We'll talk about all of your payment options in another lesson. Under availability, I'll pick which staff members will offer this service. So I'll uncheck this first staff member, and now my clients won't be able to book them from the service. Then I can add a cover image and a gallery and change up any of these other settings, like whether I'll automatically accept bookings for this appointment or if I want my clients to fill out a form before they book. Now let's take a quick look at our overview at the top of this page. And under display settings, I'll make sure I'll add my new service to my site and app and then click save. Let's say I offer more than just one-on-one appointments. With classes, I can offer one-time sessions that can be booked by more than one client at a time. For my salon, that might be group manicures for a birthday party or event, or maybe a weekly workshop. We can add these classes the same way I added an appointment, either using a template or starting from scratch. Let's take a look at the class I've already added to my site. Everything here is pretty much the same as an appointment, except a few key things. Down at the bottom of my service details, I can set a maximum number of participants. Another important difference is how classes are scheduled. For appointments, clients can choose any available time on my staff members' calendars, but for classes, they'll only be able to join sessions at the set times that I put on my calendar. Basically, I determine exactly when, how long, and how often I'll offer my classes. So under schedule, I choose to offer this class weekly with no end date. So it's routine part of my salon's weekly schedule. My clients will be able to see these sessions on my site and reserve their spot. And down in my additional settings, I can allow groups to book under one reservation, which is great for hosting events. And a quick note, once a class fills up, you can let clients join a waitlist, but we'll look at that in another lesson. For classes where you want clients to meet more than once, like a month educational program or a 10-week training challenge, you can create one course with multiple sessions that your clients can book all at once. Let's check out the course I created for my site. Setting up a course really is almost identical to a class, since I'll choose exactly when I'll offer these sessions. But here, I'll schedule all of my sessions for one course up front. I set this course to meet once a week for 13 weeks, all hosted by the same staff member. But I know this time might not work for every client, so I can add another group of sessions to my calendar. Here's how I do that. First, I can choose who'll be leading the course, or I can add a new staff member right from here. I'll just add myself here to show you how. And now I'll just set this to repeat weekly. And before we finish up, I can decide whether clients can join my course after the session meets. This could work for things like weekly fitness sessions, but for a course like mine, that'll follow a structure or a curriculum. Let's leave this off. And now your clients can book your services without ever picking up the phone. So that's an overview on how clients can schedule their own sessions. Next, we'll talk about how you and your staff can manage your own schedules and availability. That's where we'll pick it up on our next lesson. Running a business can make you feel like you need to be in 10 places at once. But with an organized calendar, you can stay on top of everything, all from one place. In this lesson, we'll go through some ways to keep your schedule running smoothly using your Wix booking calendar. We'll talk about how to manage your schedule, your team's schedules, and your staff profiles. Then, we'll look at how your team can manage their own calendars, even from their phones. Let's check it out. Let's get started by opening up my dashboard and heading over to my Wix booking calendar. Here, I can see my entire staff's availability at a glance, and I can click Add Sessions to manually book clients and to block off time on my schedule. I can even filter to change how I see my schedule by service or staff member, and color code my view as well. So let's filter by service. So if I deselect this, I won't be able to see it on my calendar anymore, but I can click it again to bring it right back. In the same way, we can filter by staff member to remove anyone from my calendar too. And I can just reset my filters if I want to see everything back again. On to color coding. Now, if I care more about keeping track of which services I've booked instead of who they're booked with, I can color code by services instead of staff members. You can also filter by locations, session availability, block time, or personal calendar events. I can sync my personal calendar up here so I can make sure I don't double book myself or forget an appointment. And I can just click sync to set that up. Once I do, my booking calendar will automatically add block time during any events on my synced calendar and show my clients that I'm busy without giving them any details. Now, I need to get my staff set up. I can click on Staff under my booking calendar to edit each person's profile and regular working hours. And another note here, don't overlook your staff profiles. Giving each person a profile with a headshot and a friendly bio helps build trust with your clients. So let's look at one of my staff member profiles. I've added a name, description, email, and a profile photo. And this is where I would be able to set up their regular availability. And I can change which days and times this person will work each week. Once I get each of my staff members set up with a profile like this, here's what my clients will see on this site. Now they can learn a bit about my staff and their specialties before booking. I want my staff to be able to manage their own booking calendars. Here's how they'll do it. Back in my dashboard, I'll click on Give Calendar Access. I'll just confirm their email address, and once they accept the invite, they'll be able to view and add their own bookings right on the calendar without seeing any of the other backend tools that I have access to as a site owner. This is great for me as a manager because Now, my staff members can handle tasks like marking sessions as paid, managing attendance for their classes, emailing their clients directly, and managing their time off. And I can focus on other parts of running my business. My team and I can also manually add appointments to the calendar on clients' behalf. Now, you might be thinking, are my clients the ones who should book the appointments online? Well, yes, but this will come in handy if you also take appointments over the phone or in person. So let's go through it. In my booking calendar, I'll just click add a new appointment, and I'll just add myself as a client. And let's get this one in the books. You can also add block time here. So you and your staff can keep track of your time off or any changes to your usual availability. I'll just give this a title. Make sure I have the right date and time as well. And I can also add a quick note that only I'll be able to see. Your block time will have this striped background on the calendar, so you can spot it easily. Clients will automatically see that this staff member is unavailable during that time without sharing any of the details that you added. But for days like holidays where a bunch of staff members will need the same time blocked, you don't need to do this over and over for everyone. The Bookings Business Availability app is a huge time saver. You can add it to your site from the Wix App Market. So if I open up the App Market here on the left, I should be able to do a quick search. And I'll see the app here. I've already added it to my site. So let's say I'm closing my salon for a day. So I'll just open up the app. And then I can pick which staff members will be off. In my case, it'll be everyone. Then the dates will be closed. So now when I go back to my calendar, I'll see everyone's time blocked off. It's just as simple to manually add extra classes and course sessions to my schedule. Let's quickly go through both, starting with a class. I'll click to add a new session and fill in my details here. If I'm adding a one-time class that won't be part of my routine schedule, I won't set it to repeat. Now, my clients will be able to sign up for this class session on my site, or I can manually book them right here in the calendar. So I'll add myself as a participant to show you how. I'll just click on that class, click Manage, and add myself right here. And I'll do the exact same to add a course session here. I'll click Add and pick Course. Then choose all of these settings and make sure to click Save. You may not need to schedule courses like this often, since they're typically recurring, but this can be helpful for scheduling things like makeup or trial sessions. Before we wrap up, I've got some good news. Just about everything we covered in this lesson can also be done right from your phone, from the Wix Owner app. Using the Owner app lets you and your staff manage your schedules from anywhere. You can download it right from your favorite app store on your phone. Then all you have to do is follow the instructions to sync up with your site. Here's what it looks like once you've set it all up. Now you and your staff can book appointments, manage your schedules, update your availability, and chat with clients in real time, all from your phones. And now that you know how to schedule your services, you can customize your booking process even more. That's what we'll cover in our next lesson. When it comes to building your booking process, one size definitely doesn't fit all. So this lesson is all about creating a flow that's right for your business. We'll look at some ways you can customize your booking process with some custom forms and waitlists, and by letting clients book from their phones or through Google. Let's get started. One way to customize your process is by adding a booking form. This helps you get all the info you need from a client before their session, saving both of you time on the date of the service. That being said, try to keep forms short so you don't put too many steps in the way of a client getting on the books. Let's jump into my dashboard. So under my booking services, I'll click one of my appointments and scroll down to the very bottom on my additional settings. First, we'll see a default form here, which is where clients will share basic info like their name and email address before booking a service. But I can also ask them specific questions with a custom form. So let's edit mine together. I'll just give this a title and a subtitle. And then I can customize the things I want my clients to fill out. We already have some basics here, like name and email. And you'll see there's no asterisk next to phone number, which means it isn't required. But I'm gonna go ahead and make this a required field so I can send text reminders for my appointments. Then here at the bottom, I can customize this add your message field or change it to a short answer or checkbox. So let's change its name. And I could add another field here if I want to collect a bit more info. Let's say I need to ask a few questions to figure out how long their sessions will take. I'll just add another field and make it a short answer. And then I'll make sure to add my question. Again, the rule of thumb here is to only ask questions you'll need answered before an appointment. This is also a good spot to make sure clients are aware of any terms or conditions they'll need to agree to, like a cancellation or a refund policy. To add that, you just add another custom field, make it a checkbox, and link it to your policies page on your site. And before I wrap up, I just want to make sure I add this as a required field. Once this has everything I need, I can just click Save. The majority of people booking services online are doing it on their cell phones. So to meet clients where they are, you can use two Wix apps designed to make mobile booking simple. The first is the Wix Owner app. This one works on your side. It's where you manage all of your bookings. The second is the Wix Spaces app. This one is for your clients. It's where they can go to book your services on a mobile. Both apps are available right in the App Store on your phone or tablet, and you can set them up to work together seamlessly. We looked at the Wix Owner app in our last lesson, so now let's take a look at the Spaces app. This is my online space for my nail salon. My clients can search for my business and join my space to book services, see their upcoming events with me, shop online, and read my blog posts. This is really helpful for staying connected with your regulars and creating a sort of home base for anything they might need from you. You can customize exactly what clients will see in their Spaces app from your Owner's app or back in your dashboard by going right here. And following the prompts to get set up, if you want to learn a bit more about how all of your apps work together, I added a link in the resources tab below that can help you get started. The goal of every booking business is pretty clear: to get clients to sign up for your services. But what do you do when you've exceeded that goal? Creating waitlists on your site lets clients sign up for fully booked classes or courses in case a spot opens up. Plus, they help you collect new clients' contact info and track their services in demand, so you can add more sessions with confidence that they'll book up. So over in my settings, I'll open up my booking settings and then click on waitlist. Then I'll just choose how many people can join and pick how long I'll hold their spot once it opens up. Now, anyone trying to book a full class or course can join a waitlist. But an important note, they can only join a waitlist from the Spaces app. So if they try to join on a desktop, they'll be asked to either open or download it on their phone first. Or you can add them to a waitlist yourself from your booking calendar. I'll just head to the class or course they want, manage the participant list, switch over to waitlist, and add their info there. One of the most reliable ways people discover local businesses is through Google Maps. But did you know you can book services on Maps too? This tool is called Reserve with Google, and you can set it up in your dashboard, but you'll need to meet a few requirements first. If you want to find out if your business meets them all, check out the article I've linked in the resources tab below. If you do, here's how to set it up. You'll just head to Marketing and SEO and make sure to select Reserve with Google. You can follow the prompts to get set up all right in your dashboard. Once you do, anytime a client books from Google, their appointments will automatically show up on your booking calendar. Now that they can book themselves, you'll need to keep track of whether your clients show up for their services or not. We'll cover all things attendance in our next lesson. Tracking attendance is key for any bookings business, not just because it's a good way to stay organized, but because your attendance reports can help you make smart choices later on. In this lesson, we'll cover how to track attendance through your dashboard and a customizable check-in app, plus how to use all your attendance data to make better decisions for your business. The first way you can track attendance is directly on your booking calendar. Now, let's take attendance for an appointment first. So when my client shows up, I'll just click here and mark them as checked in. And I can do the same for my classes and courses. I'll just click to manage my participants and I can mark them as checked in or a no-show. And if I'm doing this as my clients arrive and pay in person, I can also change their payment status right here. It really is a quick, simple thing, but taking those few seconds to track when clients arrive will leave you with data you can use to help grow your business. Tracking your session attendance can actually be completely hands-off. The client check-in app works like a virtual receptionist, letting clients check themselves in as they arrive. Let me show you what I mean. First, I'll open up my Wix App Market and I'll just search client check-in. Now, once I add the app to my site, I can click here to open it. Now, it'll take me right back to my dashboard to customize my settings. I can edit this to match my branding, change my security settings, and choose what my clients will see after they check in. Once you've set it up, you can just print out this QR code and leave it in your reception area for clients to scan on their phones. And if I click this link, I can preview the screen my clients will see when they scan it. They'll be able to check themselves in for their sessions, which will automatically update their attendance on your calendar. And the check-in app automatically syncs with your booking calendar, so you don't ever need to manually add any sessions here. One of the best things about tracking your attendance in your dashboard is that your site does a lot of the hard work for you. To start, every time a new client books with you, a unique contact card is automatically created. I can see those cards by clicking contacts right over here. And let's go ahead and open one up. This card is automatically updated every time this person books with you and checks in for their sessions. Plus, it can help you understand some client trends, like what services they've booked or which subscriptions they purchased. So let's say I notice a regular client hasn't booked with me in a while. I can open up their contact card and see which of my services they usually book, who they usually book with, and see if any of my staff members have left any notes about their last visit with us. We can also spot big picture attendance trends by looking right over here at my analytics and reports. For example, I can get insights into how engaging my classes are based on how many people book again, or I can decide if I need to create a no-show policy or even charge a deposit ahead of my pricier services. We'll dive deeper into how you can understand and use all of your site data a little later in this course. But now that your clients are booked and checked in, it's time to talk payments. That's what we'll cover in our next lesson. Let's talk about everybody's favorite day, payday. There are a handful of ways you can get paid through your website. And in this lesson, we'll go through all of them to find the ones that work best for you and your clients. We'll get you set up with how you'd like to get paid first, then cover some helpful tools like payment plans and invoices, and finish up by connecting your payment methods. Let's get started. Every client is different. So if you want to set everyone up for quick and easy payments, you'll need to give them some options. You can customize your payment method for each of your services. To start, let's take a look at where you can choose your payment methods. So I'm gonna go ahead and open an appointment in my dashboard. The first thing we'll need to decide is the price type. A fixed price, varied prices, or a custom price. We talked about these when we set up our services, but to recap, fixed prices are the same for every client, where varied prices let you offer a few different amounts, and custom pricing lets you set a price range. You can also choose no fee, which means your prices won't be displayed on your site, and it will either be free or your clients will have to pay in person. So let's take a look at each of them. With a fixed price, I'll just have to decide if I want to get paid online or in person, or if I'm fine with either. But I'm actually going to have them pay a deposit online and the rest in person. Now, with varied prices, I'll add a few more price options. I can customize this based on any custom factor or by staff member that a client books with. But I'll just pick custom for now. So let's say I want to add a cheaper price for a kid's manicure. I'll add a label so clients know that they have an option. And I'll add a price for a regular mani and a kid's mani. Then I'll just click save. Now, let's take a look at custom prices. I'll just type out something like a starting rate or a price range here. So now my clients can see my starting rate, but won't be charged when they book online, since I'll need to determine what their custom price will be. With a planner membership, you can encourage repeat bookings and get your business paid up front. So let's set up a plan for a manicure service. I want to be clear about what's included with this plan, so I'll give it a really straightforward name and also a description. And I'll be making sure that I add how many sessions are included. And I can even click here and add another service. If I wanted to offer something like a mani-pedi special, for instance, then I'll just set my price and choose how long my plan will last. On top of services, we can add one or all of these extra perks to a plan, like exclusive blog content, access to groups, or a membership to join any events I might host. And some last few things here. I won't limit this to one purchase per person because I want clients to keep paying upfront, but I will let them cancel a plan if they want. When I'm done, I'll get a preview of exactly what my plan will look like on my site. If this all looks good, we're ready to save. You can send a payment request before or after a session with an invoice. Let's walk through creating one together. This is my standard invoice form. I've already gone ahead and filled out all my basic information. I can change any quantities or rearrange any of these here. Now, I can add up to 2 tax rates per item on my invoice, including services and products. And I don't have to do any of that math myself. Now, if I click here and enter tax rate, my invoice will add up what my clients owe for me. That tax automatically gets added to my invoice total. If you want to learn a bit more about adding tax to your invoices, check out the link I've added to the resources tab below. The next options you'll see are to offer a discount or request a deposit. So let's say I want to do both. I'll just click on Add Discount and set my amount. And we currently have 10%, so that works for me. And then I would click on Request Deposit. This time I'm making sure that I have the correct settings here, which is a dollar amount and what I want to charge. Perfect. I also added a note for my client and my terms here. So now let's preview my invoice to make sure everything looks good. And then I can send it right off this page. Once I send this, my client will receive an email with a link to this invoice that they can pay in just a few clicks. But in order to get their payment, I'll need to set that up with a payment provider. If your business is already set up with a payment provider, it's easy to connect it to your Wix site. But you can also get paid directly through Wix payments to keep things all in one place. Let's quickly go through all of your payment options in the dashboard. I'll just head over here to my settings and click on Accept Payments. Now, credit or debit cards, PayPal, and manual payments are the big 3 here. And you can connect one or all of them. But if you're looking for something else, like international or installment payments, you can click See More Payment Options, and you'll be able to check out some additional integrations. Or you can even click here to see some other third-party providers. But to get started with Wix payments, let's jump back a bit. Then I'll just click Connect and go through a few steps to get set up here, like adding your banking info. Then you'll be ready to start getting paid right away. Another great resource to keep payments simple is Wix Point of Sale, or POS. Basically, Wix POS is a small card reader that lets you accept online payments in person. If you want to learn more about Wix POS, or order a card reader now, check out the link I've included in the resources tab below. Once you find the right mix of payment solutions for your business, you're ready to see your work pay off, literally. To bring in even more business and increase your bottom line, you'll have to understand what your clients need and how you can better serve them. So next up, we'll cover analytics. One of the best things a business can do to keep growing is to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. But not everyone knows where to start. Luckily, there are analytics tools built right into your dashboard to help you do just that. That's what we'll cover in this lesson. Let's take a look. Every bookings business has its trends, like which classes or time slots are most popular. Back on your booking calendar, you can use your activity and analytics tabs to figure out what your trends are and make better business decisions based on what actually works best for you and your clients. Let me show you what I mean. My activity panel is just what it sounds like, a quick snapshot of how my staff and I have been spending our time. This is also where I can see who's joined a waitlist for one of my services. But my analytics tab is where things can get a bit more interesting. You see, this panel gives me a glimpse into my business analytics, and it's divided into 3 parts: my overview, insights, and reports. Let's open up one of my reports. This is my popular services report. It's one of my most helpful reports for my business because it clearly shows you which services are trending and which aren't getting as much attention. So, for example, I see my Mani Happy Hour has been big over the past month, but my nail technician course hasn't been as popular. I can decide whether I want to focus on offering more classes or manicure-based options, or if I want to put a stronger marketing effort behind my course. But let's say this visual isn't really resonating with me. I can choose from a few different views to find the one that works best for me. Now, I'll try the bar chart split, or I can try out the table view as well. As you get more comfortable analyzing your data, you can filter your reports or create a customized reports for a bunch of different business metrics. Having these reports easily accessible from my calendar also adds an extra layer of context to where these numbers are coming from. Say my calendar is looking empty. I can check this report, change the date range to this time last year to see which services performed best, and if I haven't offered them lately, I can promote them to my clients again. There's one more analytics tool you'll want to keep track of. And for that, let's head back into my booking calendar. Now, if I click on More Actions and I choose Export Booking Data, I can create a spreadsheet with a full detailed view of every single session on my calendar. I'll just choose my date range and I'll confirm on export once I'm ready. This report has over 10 data points, which can be a bit overwhelming at first. So I recommend using it to answer one specific question at a time, like what's the most popular service for the summer? Or how long were my most booked classes this month? When you have a clear goal or question in mind, this data can be really valuable and really straightforward. If you're just getting started with analytics, you can download a free app that breaks your client and service data down in a simple and accessible way. Let's head to the Wix App Market and search for the Bookings List integration. I've already added this to my site, so when I click Open, we can see a clear list of all of my session data that lives right over here under my booking calendar on the left bar. Having your business data laid out so clearly can be a real game changer, helping you better understand what your clients are reacting to, so you can find ways to keep them engaged and reduce no-shows. And this works for my staff too. So if I click on Filter and select one of my staff members, I can see a list of one person's data at a time. Filtering this way also makes things like performance checks and promotion season super easy on me as a manager. And when you're ready, you can always dive into more advanced reporting. I'll add a link to an article to help you take the next step in the resources tab below. Now that I know how to understand my client's behavior, we'll cover the best ways to communicate with them in our next lesson. Research shows that 99% of email users check their inboxes every single day. And for most of them, it's the first thing they do when they get online. And if you're looking to get in touch fast, 60% of mobile users read text notifications within 5 minutes of receiving them. So whether you're sending an appointment reminder, a promotional deal, or anything else your clients need to see, your booking site has tools to help you find your way into their notifications. That's what we'll be covering in this lesson. Let's get started. You can send text or email notifications to clients for things like appointment reminders, event promotions, or cancellation confirmations. And just like everything else on your site, you'll want to customize your notifications to make them feel authentic to your brand and services. That looks a bit different for email and text, so we'll go over both. From my dashboard, I'll open up my booking settings, and I'll make sure to click on Email and SMS Reminder. Here, I can choose which types of notifications I want to send to my clients, and choose whether I want to receive a notification for every new booking on my site. I want those reminders, so I'll make sure this is on. And then under Notifications Clients Get, I'll make sure all of these are on too. My session reminders are pre-written for me, but we can go ahead and customize some other text notifications. To do this, you'll need to get set up with OmniSend. You can do that by clicking Get Started and filling out a quick form. Once you do, you can click here and customize. Let's set up a confirmation email. I'll just hover above the edit, make sure I click it. Then I can customize one email for appointments and another for classes and courses. But keep in mind that this is the message that all of your clients will get for each, no matter which specific service they booked. So you'll want to add details without getting too specific. So now, for my appointments, my clients will always be coming in person, so I won't include a video link. People are always likely to open an email if they know who it's from and what it's about. So I'm going to make that really clear in my subject line. And I want to make sure they know how to get their session, so I'll add my address in my message too. Let's quickly address these little symbols you see in my message. The BR here represents a line break. These just let the Wix email system know when I want to start a new line in my email. And I'll go ahead and add that same message over here for my classes and courses. The only thing I'm going to change is that I'll keep the video conferencing link in there if my courses are offered remotely. Beyond time-sensitive reminders, you'll want to stay in touch with your clients for things like sending thank you messages, requesting feedback, and checking in when they haven't booked in a while. You can put all those communications on autopilot with automations. I'll just scroll down and I'll click to see all of my options for automating emails. Under Installed for You, I can see the automations I've already set up on my site, but there are dozens of pre-made templates I can install, or I can start from scratch. I want to automate a message to my repeat customers, congratulating them on hitting a milestone with me and giving them a little thank you gift in return. So to do that, let's click on New Automation. I'll choose this template to thank clients for booking 5 sessions with me. Every automation has a trigger, an action, and a timing. Let's start with the trigger. This basically answers what exactly would my client have to do to set off this automation. I'll change this trigger to whenever someone has booked 10 sessions with us. Next is action, which is exactly what will happen once my client sets off the trigger. I can set my action to do something like automatically send an email or a chat message. I want to give my loyal clients a discount, so I'm going to choose send a coupon. And I'll just customize this. So I want to make sure that I add a code, the coupon name, and the discount that I'm offering. And I'll apply this to every single service with no end date. And last but not least, I'll limit it to 1 use per customer. Once I'm done, I'll click Create Coupon. Now I'll just add my sender details. And here, you can completely customize the look of your email with things like your brand colors, images, and text. And once I'm happy with all of the changes I've made, I can preview and test my email and move on to timing. This controls how long after the trigger is set off that its action will happen. I want my coupon to be sent an hour after my client checks in for their 10th appointment, so they can use it to book their next session. Just set the time and have it sent once per customer. And before we activate this, you'll see the option to add a follow-up action. So if I also want to request that they leave me a review on my site or even send a bigger discount after they book 10 more sessions with me, I can set that up right here in the same automation. Now, when you start planning how you'll communicate with your clients, there's an important group of people you don't want to forget: your potential clients. And with promotions, you can reach them with a social media post, an email campaign, or a paid ad. If we head back to our booking services, we can create a promotion in just a few minutes. So let's hover above my manicure service, and I'll be sure to click on promote. From here, I can create unique content to promote my service. A few things to point out here. People see so many ads in a day, so you'll want to keep your on-image text short, easy to understand, and persuasive. Another way to make your posts stand out is adding some seasonal context to make it feel fresh, and by adding a direct call to action or an incentive to book with a discount. You can also add a disclaimer right on your image, and you can add some graphic elements. But before you add anything, remember to keep things simple and on brand. The last thing you might want to add here is your logo. So repeat clients and people who visited your site before can recognize your content at a glance. Once you design a post, you can connect your Facebook and Instagram account to share it right from your dashboard. And if you want to know more about getting started with digital marketing, I've linked to our full course on that in the resources tab. Now let's recap. Throughout this entire course, we've created a dynamic booking site that you and your staff can manage anywhere to fit your clients' needs, and your own too. And it's all designed to help you reach your goals and keep your business growing. And now, I'll leave you to it. Thanks for watching.